Hello everyone, welcome to my classroom introduction on percussion and drumming. My name is Don Tonic. I've been a drummer and percussionist now for just about 25 years, and in that time I've been really blessed to have traveled to some cool places and played a lot of different instruments and a lot of different styles and got to meet a lot of cool people along the way. So today I'm going to be sharing with you an outline on my course to learning to play the drums and percussion, and also on how to become proficient and working professional musician. Throughout this course we're going to cover many different aspects of the art of drumming. The main points we're going to focus on are going to be rhythm, tempo, timing, feel, and dynamics. We're going to learn a lot about proper playing technique for all different drums and sticks. We're going to learn about discipline, practice, endurance, and health, and they all kind of come together. We're going to go a lot into the history of drumming and the pioneers who paved the way for all of us to play. We're going to learn how to read and write music on staff paper, but it's not as bad as you think. We're going to learn about the mindset of performance and entertaining, and also about playing live and playing in the studio. We're going to go over drums and percussion instruments of the world and their cultural backgrounds. We're going to learn about the people that play them and the countries they come from, and some of the ceremonies that they're used at. We're going to go over rudimental drumming for snare drum and for drum set. We're going to learn a lot about playing on the practice pad, which is big part of learning how to play. And what I'm going to touch on in just a little bit is about tones, phrasing, and vocabulary. You could consider any instrument like learning another language, so I'm going to break that down in just a bit. To be honest, being a drummer is not for everyone. Some of the demands are extreme, like patience, endurance, sacrifice, and sometimes even a little pain along the way. But the rewards are also great as well, like better health and stamina, and stronger focus and willpower, and better balance and coordination. But most of all, in my opinion, it's about having fun, and it's about learning how to express yourself in a lot of new and interesting ways. So I'm going to leave you with that. We're going to go on to the courses in just a little bit. Other than that, I'm going to leave you with the words of Scott Johnson, the great percussion instructor from Concord Blue Devils. He says, "If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right." So, check it out. So, real quick, I'm going to touch on tones, vocabulary, and phrasing real quick. As I mentioned earlier, you could sort of consider playing a new instrument like learning a new language, in the fact that you would have to learn it in stages, where first you learn the ABCs of it. From there you would sort of learn words and a couple of sentences, and then from there you learn how to read paragraphs. Then you learn how to read stories. But it's also the same way as playing is the same way of speaking all this new stuff that you're going to learn. So we can basically break down drumming into three main tones. One is called an open tone, one is called a bass tone, and one is called a tap or a grace note. I'm going to demonstrate on my little friend here. He's called a dubek. He's from Middle Eastern countries. Very interesting drum. Also has little tambourines in there. I've had it for a few years. It's one of my favorites. That's the bass tone. Would be the open tone, and then a tap or a grace note would be played on the edge, just a little bit softer. So the three together, you have. So I'll just demonstrate a little something for you real quick. like I said, just a basic example of what just a short phrase would be. That was actually a particular rhythm. And each country or culture will have their different rhythms, their different phrasing, their different tones. We're going to learn a lot more about tones in another course. It has to do with technique, and each drum has its own proper way of being played and all that. But you could basically think of those same three elements. You could apply it to, say, a drum set where the bass drum would be the bass tone, the snare drum would be the open tone, and say like the hi-hat would be the tap or the grace note played there. If you were talking about, say, a marching band, the bass drum line is usually tonal, like 4 or 5 of them. They would represent the bass tones. The snare drum line would more or less represent the open tone or the attack note, and then the tenor drums, which are the 4 drums on the harness, would kind of represent the taps, but they would also combine up with the cymbal section. If you were talking a djembe, it would be, or West African drums, it would be real similar to this one here. If you were talking Afro-Cuban drums, like say bongos or timbales, there would be one drum slightly smaller than the other with 2 drums together, and the larger drum would be used to play the bass tone, and the smaller drum would be used to play the open tone, and the taps are for the most part played on the higher drum. So that's just just a basic touch on phrasing and communicating with the language and all that. So we're gonna move on from here. Stay tuned, and we're gonna keep it going. All right.